Hey folks, Dave here. I hope everybody's well today. We're going to make a Halloween village, and we're just kind of do it on the fly. I didn't do a lot of planning for this because I've been pretty busy, but let's do this. So I got some free vectors off the internet, and I'll put links to those in the description. And we're just going to start with an old house. It says it's haunted. I guess we'll see. Sometimes when you download vectors, they're not real straight. So we're going to put a tab on the bottom of this. So let's try to straighten it up a little bit. And just select the entire piece. And remember, you can scroll in and out with your mouse wheel. You can push down on the mouse wheel and move the entire canvas. And we'll just pull this down to one of the lines, one of the grid lines. Straighten it up as much as we can. That looks pretty good. Okay, now we're going to just make this a score. So set it for whatever your score is. I'm using a 40 watt XTOOL. So this is what I have set. Speed of 40 and power 30. Depending on the wood, sometimes that can be too much, but it works pretty good on the 3mm plywood that we'll be using. Okay, so now you want to select again, go over to the left, do an outline. I've just got it set for a 1/2 millimeter. That should work fine. Then pull your original out of the way. Select your outline and set it for a cut line. And you can see off to the right, this is what I have set for cut. And be sure you always keep your cut line on the bottom so your cuts will be last. Okay, let's put a tab. So grab a square off to the left, draw it out. Go up top, make sure your lock is off, and we will make it about 45 millimeters width and 3 on the height. I got an allergy thing going on, so I'll be making some noise. Okay, so now select your arrow at the top, and then when you want to snap this to the bottom of this, and we'll see if it'll connect. If not, we'll make an adjustment. But your mouse cursor will change to a line, and you can pull it up and snap it. And it looks like it connected here, but not here. So we're just going to make a correction to start with. We'll go up top, and instead of a height of 3, we'll make it a height of 4. And then we will just break the plane like so. Something like that. And that'll give us a little tab on the bottom. We just want to cross that line so it'll be kind of straight and not push through the bottom of our stand when we make it. So you would want not somewhere around a millimeter across, not too much more though. Okay, so leave it selected, push shift, select the outline, and then go up top to vertical align, and then it will line it up for you. Then go over to the left to weld and click weld, and there we go. Now we can put our scored house back inside. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, so that will, I guess we can go, so lock the lock back up top after you select the house. Lock it back, and then let's do a height of about 90 millimeters, and that will It'll give us about 3.5 inches of height, a little more. And when you lock the lock, it will adjust everything proportionately. Okay, so select, right click, and group, and our house is done. We'll just move it over out of the way. And let's go back out and get us a dead tree. And again, all of these vectors will be links down in the description so you can go get them. Okay, so we can just go ahead and outline this. And the 0.5 is good again. Then grab your original, pull it out. You want to check out your outline, make sure there's nothing real weird with it. Looks okay. We've got to put a tab on that as well. So our tree, I'm going to hit Control Z and put it back inside. Select the whole thing and put it up to the house just to get a reference. And that actually looks pretty good. Trees are normally a little taller than houses, so we'll go with that. Okay, so now it's going. I've got to grab the outline and pull it away. And then we can select our original tree and make it a score. And then we can grab a square, come over here and make a tab that's big enough to work with the tree. That looks pretty good. And we will make it, we'll go ahead and make it 4 and pull it past the plane because we can see that it's, and I should have unlocked that, and then we can stretch it out to the width of the tree. Click our arrow to select. And it can go past, it's not going to hurt anything. Scroll in closer. And we will just break the plane with it. Like so. Make it a cut. Leave it selected and then shift, select the tree. Go over to the left to weld. And now we have our tab. Now we can put the tree back, get close enough to see and make sure we line it up properly. Sometimes the alignment tools don't work right if you have too much weird stuff going on like these limbs, but that looks pretty good. I think we will select the tree, right click, group, and call that done. Okay, let's go get something else. Excuse me. We will get an old well. We'll resize that. And it's probably quite a bit smaller. I really don't measure much out. I just try to size it up as I go. And let me straighten my camera up a little bit. I start moving and then you can't see me in the window pretty good. As good. That looks about right. Okay, so we will do an outline on that. Leave it at 0.5. Then we can pull out the original. Go get us another tab. And we'll just go ahead and make it 4 and 24. Looks pretty good. Just remember to click this arrow up top or you'll start making squares all over the page. Just break the plane. We can probably stretch it out because you want to make sure there's enough on the bottom to go through or go into the wood you're working with. So we can probably Make that 5. And again, if it was a square bottom, a straight line, it would just snap right to it. So that should work. So select your tab, shift, select the weld, and then go over to the left and select weld. And there we go. Now we can set the internal portion to score. Bring it over and line it up. Looks pretty good. Select it and group it. And we're going to put an old witch in here at some point, so we'll make sure that's proportionate when we do that. So let's go back up and get us a gate and fence. I don't know. We'll see how this works out. That might not work out too good. Okay, so we're gonna do an outline on this. I guess we'll do is make us a little graveyard, and this will be the gate in front of the graveyard. Okay, we can pull the inside out and go ahead and make it a score. And then we've got to find the best way to get a tab on here. So let's see what we can do. Let's go up and grab a box. And just drag something out that will span the gate portion. And let's just move it up here and see how it looks. We can center that by leaving it selected and then shift and select the rest of the outline and push your vertical line. And I think we're going to have to make it a little bigger. I'm just going to drag it out a little bit. We want to make sure there's enough to go through the slot that we make in the board. And some of these slots are weird sizes, so I may get confused. Maybe not. Yeah, it is. That's a pretty long gate. I mean, pretty long tab. I'm going to shorten it up a little bit. And when I make the tabs or the slots, I'll probably have to remeasure these just to make sure. So you could select that tab, make it a cut line. While that's selected, shift, select the rest of the outline, go over to the left and hit weld. Okay. Now we can grab the score portion and just get it set in there. And then we will select it all, right click, and group. And it's pretty easy to make your own gate if you're, or your own fence if you wanted to. Let me just take time to show you that, just in case you want to do it on another project. Just grab a square and make you a fence slat. Leave it selected. You can go over to array, and if you you set the width between the slats right here. So let's say 5 millimeter between slats, and then up here, let me move this out of the way. Up here on the columns, you just add that is not enough width. So we are going to change the width. No, we're not. We're going to start over. Okay, so you have your slat. Click Array. I don't know why. Oh, I should have put it on spacing, not width. Okay. Spacing, let's just say 3 millimeters on spacing. I make mistakes, folks, so y'all just hang on. We'll fix them. So we have 3 millimeter spacing. We can go up to the columns, and it will add as many slats as you want. And then you can pull one out, go up to arrange, adjust it, pull it back up here, line it up somewhere, wherever you want to. Control Z. You just want this top portion going across like so. And then you would want to duplicate it for the bottom and just get it out of the way. And then you can select, shift, select all of your other slats, and then go over to weld and weld. And then you have a fence. And then you would do the same thing on the bottom. Shift, select, weld, and you have a fence. And of course you just make the gate smaller, turn it however you want to, and then do what we've done here on the bottom, and it would hold it into place. Okay, so we will go with the original gate we had. Took us a little side trip there. Alright, let's see what else we can grab. We'll get everything made, and then we will kind of make it as proportionate as possible. Alright, we got a tombstone here. It's pretty big. We will make it small and put it back here somewhere. Let's go get another one. Make them about the same size, and we'll probably have to resize these before we finish. And then let's grab one of these, duplicate it, put it in the back, and make it a little smaller for a little forced perspective to make it look further away. Okay. Alright, let's go get something else. Here's our witch. So we have a witch. We want to size her up, make sure she's not bigger than the house. Probably about there, whatever that is. She's still a pretty big witch. Okay, so let's see how she looks up to the well. Okay, so the well probably needs to be a little smaller, like so. Let's see how she looks up to the gate. It's a big gate, so she probably can't see over that. And you can plan all of this out and know your height and everything for all of your pieces. But I did not have time to do that. So now we're going to resize this. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so we have our witch. We can do an outline on her. I'm not sure it'll show that much. But we'll do an outline, and we will do a score. And then we will add a tab to the bottom here. Well, matter of fact, let's go get a brew pot first. There we go, brew pot. And then we can maybe have her approaching the brew pot. So we need to ungroup this brew pot and then get rid of some of these errant bubbles. The ones that are attached are fine. And you could attach these as well, but we'll just get them out of the way. Okay, now let's make the pot proportionate to the witch. Control Z to go back, because I ungrouped it. I could have lost part of it. Now we'll group it, resize it. And it looks like she's approaching the pot now. So now we can do a tab. And we will just pull the tab out the full length here. And just leave it at 5. Click the arrow. You got to attach to one object at a time. Weld. So we will leave that selected. In fact, make it a cut. Leave that selected. Shift. Select the witch. Go over to the left. Do weld. Now we have two objects again. We can select the first object, shift, select the second object, and then hit weld again. So now we have the witch approaching her pot. And now we can put the witch back inside. Okay, folks, I got to take a break just a minute. I have somebody ringing my phone off the hook, so I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, I think we need to make some slots now. I don't think I had any more. Oh, we're going to use a font on these tombstones called Phantom Fingers. And you can get that free from the link that I'll post. It's at defont.com. And you can get that font for free, if I can find it. Right here. Okay, we're just going to put rest in peace, much smaller than that. And then select your arrow, and you can just resize this to fit. Let's make it a score. And that looks pretty good. Duplicate it, put it on the others. Resize from the corner. And there we go. You can center it by leaving it selected. Shift, select your tombstone. You can hit center, or we could have just, I'm going to hit Control Z. You could have just hit vertical right here, and it would take it to the center and leave it horizontally where you intended it to be. We may need, I guess we could put some tabs on these tombstones. Make them all the same size. That might make it easier for making slots. So we will make it 10 millimeters by 4, because we're going to have to break the plane since this one's straight right here, but the other ones are a little weird. So we'll break the plane, make it a cut. Let's go ahead and duplicate it so we have some for these others. And then we can just center it wherever you would like. And then shift, select the tombstone, and then hit weld. And there we go. And we will do the same thing up here. Shift, select the tombstone, then weld, and the same thing here. Shift, tombstone, and weld. Okay, so then you just want to group these together so your resting piece stays where you want it. I'm sorry if I keep getting out of view of the camera. I keep leaning closer so I can see better. And I'm not as used to this camera as I should be. Okay, so let's make some slots, and we'll do a kerf adjustment on the slots. So let's do this one first, the house. So we're using 3 millimeter plywood, and if you don't know, the kerf is the amount of material that your laser removes above and beyond what you specify. So we will make the slot slightly smaller than the tab. And we can, to make sure we get the tab long enough, you can just move your box and then take a look. We know we need a width of at least about 60 for the slot to work. Okay, so we're going to round off these edges. If you leave it selected, go over to radius, click radius, and then you can just click these corners and round them off. Looks a little neater. And then hit your arrow, and then we will make a slot. And we're going to make it 60. We'll make it 62 for good measure. And then to adjust for the kerf, we're using 3 millimeter plywood. We're going to make the slot 2.5. And that will allow it, when the house goes into the slot, it will fit more securely than if you made it 3. Okay, so now select your slot, shift, select the stand, and then go to the bullseye, and it'll put it right in the center. So now you can use this as a gauge. So you don't group it together yet, just duplicate it. Get you one out that you can adjust for the others, and then you can go back and group that. Now let's see what we need for the witch. Let's bring the witch down. I'm trying to keep this where it shows up good. And I think the slot will work for that one as well. So we're good on the witch. Let's duplicate and go check our gate. It needs to be a little longer for the gate, so just select the tab, drag it out, leave it selected, shift, select the rest of your stand, and then hit bullseye, and then you can check it again and make sure it's long enough. Okay, that's good, and that can actually be grouped. You can group this. And let's make something for these. These will be much smaller. My phone keeps going off, I'm sorry. People want me to do other things. So let's make something kind of oblong for this. Oval maybe. That should work. Just drag out an oval, and then we will Control Z to go back. Remember to click your arrow up top, or you'll be making things you don't want to make all over it. So you can set those in there, and then you can just touch the outside and readjust that size to whatever you might want. Okay, so now let's put some tabs in there. Let's bring this a little closer. Go up, grab a box. And let's see what we made these. So, a length of 13. I guess we can make it, we'll make them 15. Just to be sure. We'll make them 2.5 to adjust for the kerf. Hit your arrow to select. That would be our one in the rear. Right click, duplicate, drag one out over here, wherever you want to put it. Right click, duplicate, and put you another one over here. And then you can just group that together. And that is done. Now we just have the well and the tree, which we could just make a small version of this. Let me duplicate that, and remember to ungroup it so you can resize it. I told you this was on the fly, but we're going to get there. You just need to make sure that tab or that slot will work. So it needs to be longer for sure. And then we can see if it'll work for the tree. It needs to be even longer for the tree, so we will just pull it out and make one that will work for both. We get rid of these. and delete. Okay, so we are going to pull this down, leave it selected, shift, select your oval, and click center, and there you go. Now you can group this together, then duplicate it, and then we have one for the tree and one for the well. And then you can choose where to set all these things in your scene. So, we have our scores set. We have our cut line on the bottom. I'm hoping this will come out of one board, but it may not. I may have to cut two. But whatever it takes, that's what we'll do. So, let me get set up in the laser bed. We'll see what it's going to take to cut this out, and then I will come back and hit frame and start, and we'll get this cut out and see how it looks. Alright folks, I will be back shortly. Okay folks, we're all set up in the laser bed. We'll do a quick frame. Alright, let's cut this out, see what it looks like. Okay folks, it looks pretty good, so let me get it put together and we'll take a closer look. Okay folks, well here's the finished product. I had to go back and trim the tab on this one because I left it sticking through too much, but other than that it turned out good. The free vectors that were used, I'll put links to those down in the description, along with the font for the Rest in Peace from defont.com. So go out and grab you some and make this or make you another Halloween project and just have fun with it. I appreciate you watching. I hope you learned something,
And I had fun doing it. So y'all just take care, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.